My thoughts on the Mclaren Speedtail. Really elegant. Really glad McLaren's doing these kinds of exercises that stretches what's possible, stretches their own abilities, uses the full breadth of their think tank, and really makes a statement to what's possible. But I think it's a missed opportunity. There's so many incredible good uses of materials and design choices, but why would they shoehorn in what essentially is now becoming, or should be viewed, as a tractor engine into something so elegant and so forward-thinking? I mean, let's face it, if you came to McLaren, or let's say you came to any car company, and they didn't know about the combustion engine and they didn't know about electric engine, and you said to the CEO, on your desk is a big block engine full of oil, relies on vacuum and pressure and seals and electrical components and internal combustion and volatile fuel, dirty emissions, the list goes on and on. And the power is variable. I mean, the peak power is this, but it comes in variable levels as, the torque rises and falls, and as the RPMs, it's noisy. And then on the left, we've got this other one, which weighs about a third. It has basically 1 to 2 moving parts in its sum, and its power is consistent, it's immediate, and it has 0 dirty emissions. I mean, and that list goes on and on. I think the guy would just sit there and go, why did you even bring me this other one? Clearly we're going for this one, the electric one. Why are you don't even show me something like this again? And yet, because of our reluctance to sort of let go of the internal combustion engine, it's like, get over it. You've done well. You've turned it into a loud, banging, slamming, greasy, oily, black, smoky thing into this elegant, efficient sewing machine that puts out amazing amounts of power, and you've done it reliably, and you've squeezed out every last drop of power you can get from a volatile fuel source. Great, good job. Let's just put a mark in the sand and say we're done. We're done. And just move on to the smoothness, the quietness, the instant torque, the Tron-like experience of electric, and just move on. I mean, I understand you're still going to have a couple sports cars. Porsche's still going to do, a rough version of their car. McLaren's always going to have, their version of a gas-powered car. People are still going to enjoy, we'll still celebrate the rumbling V8s and all that sort of thing. And that'll never go away, just like the horse never really truly went away. But shouldn't we just, when we're doing a next level Speedtail, $1.5 million, futuristic, looking to the future, shouldn't we just make a mark in the sand and say, this is the future? But no, they just burdened it with this, 500-pound heavy gas-powered oil tank, and shoehorned it in there with a couple of electric motors to torque fill, to fill in where it's weak. I mean, for God's sakes, really? I mean, I drive a hybrid, and I don't particularly like hybrids. I like fully electric, but I can't afford fully electric. The thing's 17 feet long. You wonder how much battery you can push into that Speedtail, how much power you can crank out. And 1,000 horsepower. 1,000 horsepower, I'm sorry. It's just not modern day numbers. Look at the new Tesla coming out. God help us. God help McLaren. God help other people who are still clinging on to this grease bucket of an engine. And I know you've done well, and we celebrate it, and maybe it'll drift off into the stables of sports cars and the track and that sort of thing, but it needs to move on. And when you look at something like the Speedtail, you're like, okay, the P1 was a cool exercise, but the Speedtail should be next level. It should be, you won't even hear this thing coming or going. It'll straight through at 250 miles an hour. Just gotta say, surely the Chiron should be the last internal combustion exercise we do, and then we just say we're done. We had a great run, and now what's the future holding? Hats off to Tesla. And not to mention, when you get inside this thing, the LCD panels there's just like 6 or 7 square LCD panels everywhere. couldn't we have somehow integrated into the design of the dashboard a little better than just throwing up panels everywhere? Yeah, anyway, other than that, epic. I mean, it's just such an epic looking thing, and I'm sure the attention to detail is so lovely, and I'm sure the materials are exquisite. I mean, I am not for 1 minute saying that McLaren's done a bad job. I just can't understand this clinging on to the internal combustion engine. I mean, when you're putting in the same 4.2 liter V8 or whatever it is from their 570 or whatever it is into a Speedtail, they keep doing different versions of the same engine. It's like, for God's sakes, the Speedtail should be surely purely electric. It should be just a swift waft of air that blows through the atmosphere at 250 miles an hour. No one's seen it or felt anything like it. Just my 2 cents.